Let's talk about the entrepreneurs. You can have an entrepreneur that raises a seed round of a few $1 million, and the VC is looking for a $100 million exit. But for that person, that seed round might be their exit.
Shagaya built one of Africa's biggest e-commerce platforms from scratch. Warehouses, logistics, payments, all of it. Konga was the proof that it could be done. Then he stepped back and started over. This time in education, uLesson, Miva Open University.
You typically just sit down and say, I'm looking for a unicorn-like opportunity.
I actually don't like that word. What does that even mean, a unicorn? I think one of the things we deal with in tech is that we have this sense of exceptionalism than the other businesses of Nigeria. We're better than Market Square and MedPlus and H-Medics and Dangote and FCMB. Why don't we describe GT Bank as a unicorn? Because these are powerful businesses. They are more than unicorn. You might be sitting here in year 5 and you're worth only $100 million. But even then, let me correct myself. Who says $100 million is only?
I had cousins who had stayed back at home and couldn't go to school. The reason was not because they didn't pass. The reason was because there was a quota.
You see these problems in Nigeria where the demand side is strong. The building blocks to create supply of a good service or product are abundant in Nigeria, and yet there's no match. So the same thing in education, there's no supply, but we're not serving the market. It didn't make any sense. I mean, Miva was just incredibly clear.
I mean, you were having high-level career. Why did you now move to entrepreneurship?
I think
usually such interviews, I look forward to them because at least I've followed your entrepreneurship career for the last 12 years. That's when I came in contact with you. I don't think there was a time that was already Konga years.
After emotion,
yeah. So it was the Konga years I came across your career, and I've always followed it. And I think something that drew me was the fact that, obviously, first of all, you're from Northern Extraction, and I'm from Northern Extraction. So I felt like people don't do things like that. I never really... Yeah, I mean, I never did.
Yeah.
I never did. So for me, it was always just
But we do, though.
How?
There are really talented people from Northern Nigeria, from across Nigeria.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I think for me, it was a thing of even just being from the Middle Belt.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was for me just being from the Middle Belt because we are always just at that marginal. It was a light I had at the time.
Yes.
Obviously, I've grown older, seen more people. So I think it kind of drew me to you.
Yeah.
But coming about your background and what has formed you as a person, I saw that you had a rich military background, exposure. Do you think that's something that really formed your way of thinking and gives you an edge?
Yeah, so I do have a very strong military background. So my father was on the army. My grand uncle was in the army. Two of my uncles in the Nigerian army. My elder brother is a general.
You came from what they call the Langton Mafia.
Yes, that's what they used to call them back then. I don't know if it was much of a mafia. It just so happened that a bunch of young people in the 50s or 60s were recruited out of Langtang. Yeah. And out of the Middle Belt in general. Yeah, for some reason, really concentrated in Langtang and joined the army. So I was really surrounded by this tradition of the military. And the Nigerian military is especially regimented, very disciplined, lots of persistence and lots of physical stamina required. And then I went to military school where all of these things were required. So I went to military school young, from the age of about 9.5, to 14 and a half, 15. And then I served in the army after that. So really...
So you served in the army?
Yes, I served. So when you go to NMS in Zaria, a lot of people don't know this. When you graduate from Nigerian Military School Zaria, which is a secondary school, on your graduation day, you're technically qualified to join the Nigerian army immediately.
Oh.
So a lot of us, they give you the option. And so a lot of us actually just join while you're waiting for university.
Huh?
So there was that gap of sort of a year and a half, 2 years that I joined between military school and university.
So it's kind of like the RDF that they do in...
yeah, exactly, except it's not mandatory.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So I did that, which was very interesting. I served in Lagos in the Ordnance Corps in Ojo Elegba. I was a very young soldier, 15, 16.
Wow.
In my uniform, walking around. Yeah, so it's a very, very disciplined kind of
background.
Yes, very, and I did all the things. So I served as a private soldier.
Okay.
Which is like the private soldier is like, basically entry level, bottom of the pyramid.
Okay.
So you're doing things like guarding your commandant's house, and typing things with we had carbon black then. If you wanted to make a copy of something you're typing, that was pretty much my job, and earning 860 naira a month, which was a lot of money back then actually for a 15-year-old.
Really?
It was a lot. Yeah, that was a lot of money. This was 1991, 860 was a lot of money.
Wow. Wow. So, but then, you now further went abroad to go study.
Yeah, I was in University of Lagos first, actually, for a year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was in the electrical engineering department, University of Lagos, for a year. And then we started contending with strikes and all kinds of things. And at some point, an uncle of mine told my father, let's just get this guy out of the country. So that's what happened, yeah.
But, going abroad, studying electrical engineering, further doing your MBA, looking at a wonderful career, you typically don't want to come back to the continent. That's what we see today.
Yeah, America was good to me. America was very kind to me, and it was just a wonderful experience. I spent most of my time there. I was there for a total of about 12 years. Yeah, 12 years. And I lived mostly on the East Coast, up and down the East Coast. So Virginia, Maryland, New Hampshire, up and, Massachusetts. But I never, not for a moment, considered that I would stay in the United States. For those whole 12 years, I always wanted to come back home.
Why?
I don't know. This is where you kind of get into the realm of... I had a theory, I think, that was based on maybe some nationalism and patriotism, and maybe that we were going to enter this period of economic redemption for Nigeria and for Africa. And I don't know if it was a theory as much as a belief or a hope. And it's been delayed for so long.
Yeah. I speak to a lot of people, especially your generation.
Yeah.
And it seems like there was that hope.
Yeah, it wasn't only me. There was a lot of us that believed in this thing. And so a lot of us moved back after Nigeria became a democracy. A lot of us moved back when military rule finally ended. Sadly, a lot of my friends have moved again back to the United States. But I've stayed on. And I think that my belief or hope or instinct or whatever, I think it's coming to fruition now.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I think Nigeria is on the cusp of its longest period of sustained economic growth ever. I think if you're a 20-something-year-old now, 30-something-year-old, it's easy to think that things are bleak, but I think that they're so far from bleak. Macroeconomics and microeconomics can be studied in universities, but you can also sort of build an instinct from just time. And, so I have this real sense now that there's just a convergence of things now that are happening in Nigeria that just means that you're going to start seeing real economic growth. There are some breaks, that are still holding us back.
Okay.
Some real breaks, yeah. Power, security. And these are major breaks on the economy that we need to sort out. And I think we're beginning to sort out.
Yeah, but when you came back, you actually did not just start... When you came back to the continent, because I know you came back, but you didn't come back.
No, I moved to South Africa.
South Africa first to work with Rand Merchant Bank.
Yes.
And then you went to Google.
Yes.
Yeah. So, you were having like what is called a typical, I just got back, high-level career. But why did you now move to entrepreneurship? Because you were fine.
Yeah. These things, you look back and you can kind of say, okay, you had some massive framework or something, but I knew there are several things that I wanted very badly. I wanted to be able to control my time. I wanted to be able to control my destiny, my life. I felt corporate life was not for me. in the traditional sense. Yeah, so I just wanted a lot of sort of freedom. And I had this incredible need to create something. I just wanted to build something. And you have to understand also, this was all set up against the backdrop of just incredible changes in the world. Those changes are still happening. So digital, or the digitization of business models and business processes, and, you know, the way society is organized and the way governments are run, that process was just, it was just kicking off from the 90s into the 2000s, into the 2010s. Yeah. And so, and those opportunities, even that digitization has not fully happened, but now AI is sort of being rolled on top of that, layered on top of that. So, when a world is changing so quickly and so much opportunity is being created, I felt like I had to be a part of this somehow. I couldn't not sort of play a creative role.
And then your response to that was to start eMotion.
Yes, which was actually part of the sort of a general trend. It turns out I like technology.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like tech. I like media. I like tech. I like putting things together and then watching them work. And work can mean on a machine level, on a technical level, on a human level, on a financial level, it's sustainable. Just like seeing it run, and it starts to develop sort of a mind of its own, starts to innovate on its own. Okay. I don't think there's anything outside of sort of my kids that gives me as much joy as watching that happen. It's another form of birth, actually.
I agree.
Yeah, these corporates are actually
children.
Yeah, they're like children. They mature. They have challenges. They have periods of victory. They have incredibly long lives. They outlive humans.
Very nice.
Yeah.
If well done.
If well done, yeah. They die oftentimes, but they also there are examples of companies that are hundreds of years old.
I mean, but eMotion was way ahead of its time, if I must say so.
Digital advertising.
Yes.
So
yeah. I mean, because you were the first digital advertising company.
Yes, in Abuja. We started in Abuja.
Yes, and I remember when I started my own in the media space, it was still novel. And when I started, it was 2014. It's not like I started like long before. It was still novel to see.
No, it was so much fun.
Still now, even now,
it's still not. But Nigeria has really gone far with digital ads. It generated cash so quickly. I've never seen anything like that. It grew so fast. And so it was really fulfilling. And, we spread to Abuja and to Lagos. And then we started thinking, what do we do with all this cash? We had cash sitting in the bank.
Really?
Yes. And we started playing with ideas like, we thought about opening cinemas at some point. We going into cinemas. And IMAX cinemas.
IMAX, okay.
Yeah, because we had
still did one in Abuja, though.
Yes, we thought about doing that. We thought about what else? Oh yes, a network of indoor digital signages in building lobbies, all kinds of things.
But did you guys eventually do that?
No, we didn't.
I think I've started seeing them come around.
Yeah, those opportunities people are now starting to do them. Oh. There's a massive network. You see these in Asia a lot, in East Asia.
Yes.
These networks of indoor digital signage companies that are in elevators or lobbies of buildings, and they're very, very lucrative assets. Yeah. We thought about all kinds of things. There's a lot. You see, this is the thing about Nigeria, and so this is the other thing I want to add. So it's the other reason why I think I'm pursuing all these opportunities. So e-commerce and then education now, which is still maturing.
Yeah.
And it's doing very well, and then pursuing insurance. I think partly, I was thinking about this thing, I think it's because the environment moves slowly. So if the environment is moving slowly and you and your colleagues can execute at a certain speed,
you kind of have to do multiple things.
Then why don't you do multiple things? It's like, have you seen that X-Men movie? I don't know if you're a fan of like.
Yeah.
Which one is it? Is it Days of? There's one X-Men movie where this character Quicksilver
saves
everybody in the academy, So he runs in and he saves, I don't know, like 20 or 30 people, before they even realize, before the building blows up, and he takes them all outside. It's a brilliant, you should cue that right now. But yeah, he does that, and it's brilliant. And I think of Nigeria in the same way. So if the environment is moving slowly, and our education operation is impacting and developing, and it's going to grow at pace, and it's going to just keep, and the explosion is going to go on for a while, but it's like a slow supernova. Then should I really sit there and watch the supernova? Like,
might as well just
do something else.
Yeah, at the same time.
Yeah.
Wow. I've never heard it said this way. But that's, as an entrepreneur myself, I think that explains my reaction.
Yes.
In a way that I've never...
I think that might be why Nigerians hustle so much, because you plant something and things grow at the rate of palm trees here, because the environment, you're limited by like the macro. So you might as well plant a mango tree and a palm tree and a guava tree, and right?
So it's called mixed farming.
Yes.
Exactly. So when you know that you're planting what do you call it, palm trees, you have to plant what do you call this ones that grow every maize in between, and you try to, because you know that eventually palm tree is going to grow, but you kind of have to keep yourself.
No, you have to keep doing something else. Miva is on course. It's now 27,000 students by the end of this year.
That's really impressive. I mean, we're going to come to that and how you even choose businesses and how you even choose problems. Let me not even say businesses, because I think you approach it from a different perspective. You approach it from a problem perspective. When you had that cash, you guys had that cash. You now said to do DealDey. A lot of people might not know DealDey, but I know DealDey.
Yeah.
And I remember I got a SPA deal on DealDey. That was my first.
Did you? First deal was SPA deal.
I got
in Lagos.
Yeah.
Abuja.
In Abuja.
Oh, nice.
It was my sister. She knows how to find deals. And you guys did DealDey. I don't know what happened to that deal, but
we sold it.
Oh, really? It was sold?
Yeah, we sold it to a Swedish company for not a lot of money back then.
But was it a good multiple? Was it a multiple?
I don't even know if it was a multiple. I mean, I think we didn't invest a lot of money in it. We came out okay.
So it was
we sold it. Yeah. No, they got a good price, and we got some money in our pockets and learned about e-commerce in the process.
And then you now started Konga.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so now Konga. I said something while we were speaking. I said, you say you're going to run Konga for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Was that just an over-motivated entrepreneur who was trying to be like Jeff Bezos? Or was that really something you cared about so deeply?
Yeah, I think it's, first of all, I'll say the same thing now about Miva and Micah. I think I genuinely believe that, because when you're in it and you're seeing the strategy, you're at a vantage seat that pretty much only you and like your close colleagues in the C-suite can see. Like even your investors can see what you see many times. As a founder, you can try and explain it, but you can't articulate what you're seeing. Like Konga, the thing about many of these opportunities is that the opportunity widens with time.
Yeah.
If you think about e-commerce or retail, I mean, it just touches everything ultimately. And you could say the same thing about insurance and definitely about education. So as you roll on, it's actually more of what should we not do. So I saw this basically a game that one could play for decades.
Oh, I mean, right now we're having the rise of super apps that are even selling insurance. Oh
yeah, I mean, e-commerce players in East Asia started out as, again, just merchandise, commerce, exchanging merchandise, and then ultimately they get into payments, and they get into banking, and they get into lending, and they get into insurance, and they get into all kinds of things, and it just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling. And so ultimately you end up, and they get into hosting and, Amazon Web Services, and it's just the horizon just keeps expanding. And now you get Prime Video and you're making movies, and the horizon just keeps expanding. So, I mean, that's one of the things about some of these opportunities. And I see what we've done in education and insurance, the same thing. I think these two segments are going to be materially different from what they look like today. In 20 years, 30 years, these businesses will be huge and massive, and will occupy, I hope, very important positions in the Nigerian or the African reality.
But you eventually sold Konga.
Yes, we're compelled to. I didn't have a choice. I didn't control the board. I didn't own a majority of the company. And those that did were not as vested in Nigeria as I was.
You used the word compelled.
Yes.
So
I didn't want to.
You didn't want to?
No, not at all. Not at
Can you tell me about that? Because I think that's something a lot of entrepreneurs need to understand about fundraising, about construction of your cap table, taking in investors.
Yeah, you're going in the right direction. There are multiple levels to it. I think you've touched on a very important level, but there's maybe even one or two levels deeper. So by the time we sold Konga, we had raised, put it like this, we'd raised about $80 million. And the business, I think at the time, the last valuation was deep into the 100 million, at 150 to 200 million range.
Yes.
And it was still growing very fast. And then the devaluation happened in Nigeria, Naira dollar devaluation. And so when you looked at it for a period of time, from 2015, just in that window, the value of the company was less than the money invested because the Naira just lost value.
Okay.
So you've got these funds that are very rational actors, maybe too rational. Yeah, and maybe too short term. And so they look at that and then they freak out. And there were things happening also within my largest investor, NASPAS.
Yeah, they were also dealing with their issues.
They had their own issues. They were going through a leadership transition. The great visionary Coach Becker was exiting and leaving it more in the hands of maybe those that were not as prone to risk taking and didn't have the vision, of course. And so there are many factors that lead to these things. But the fundamental factor was that the Nigerian economy at the time, because it structurally had these issues of fuel subsidy and multiple exchange rates and inefficiencies at the port and the power issues which still persist till today, sadly, and all of these other things. Basically, you had these periodic earthquakes.
Yeah.
Nigeria doesn't have geophysical earthquakes, but we had incredibly prone to economic earthquakes. And so you could be building as well as you think you are. And then you just, like, the ground shakes under your legs. And that's what's happening.
What did that lesson teach you, the Konga lesson? Do you ever sit down and regret the day you signed that paper? Do you ever think what it could have become if you never did it? Do you ever wonder, seeing the likes of all these younger e-commerce firms coming up?
No, I'm really happy for them.
Yeah, no, but like...
I promise you, I don't know if it's...
like an old toy, you just kind of like...
No, I mean, you wish things go differently, but I don't...
You don't replay it in your head?
I want to be as perfect. I want to be very honest with you here. I am not prone to regrets. I like learning lessons, and we can talk about the lessons I learned, which is a question you asked. But I'm not somebody that sits around and licks wounds. I don't know why I have that constitution. I see a similar trait in some of my family members, so I think it's somewhere in there.
Somewhere there.
Yeah, but I'm not somebody that sits there and has these regrets and you just keep walking and it's life or whatever.
Maybe it's the military gene.
Yeah. But in terms of the lessons learned, I think some of those lessons are actually not really relevant anymore because the forces that drove the earthquakes have been removed.
Okay. But it could still happen.
We can exactly, like, look what's happening now in Nigeria and with what's happening in the Gulf. We did our budgets, I think, somewhere in the region of the 60s, $60 odd dollars per barrel. This was what the federal government did its budgeting on, and now light sweet crude is at 110 plus, and so that means Nigeria is going to benefit greatly. And we're going to make a lot of money on the macro side. But then on the individual side, on the micro side, Nigerians will still pay more for petrol, which will, dampen consumption and, be a headwind for many things, even including insurance that I'm just going into right now.
Yeah.
Education is a bit more sort of resistant to that. But that doesn't deter me. I still think we're going to see incredible growth in insurance. But but if it was before, Nigeria would have been facing challenges on the macro and the micro side.
Yeah.
But now we're benefiting on the macro side, but suffering on the micro side.
Yes.
So there is sort of a structural benefit that has happened now. Now we have to bulletproof the economy so that we don't suffer on the micro side. And there are very specific things we can do. And I pray to God that we do them. We have to invest in electricity. We have to sort out the security issue. There's some short-term bridges. We need to get this country, at least on the commercial vehicle side, going on compressed natural gas. That's an immediate sort of thing that we can do. As use CNG more, have CNG penetrate more deeply. And if we do some of these things, and then we need to sort out steel and power, like I mentioned, and railway. Some of these things I'm mentioning, by the way, are, 20, 30 billion, tens of billions of dollars projects. But for every $10 that the crude oil prices go up, Nigeria earns $20 billion. We have a window here, basically, where we can sort this country out. I just hope we do. I really hope that the guys who are in charge do this.
Actually, this was kind of like the window that opened up during Jonathan that was not taken advantage of.
No, honestly. And he had more fundamental issues then. He was still dealing with subsidy.
Yeah, he was still dealing with subsidy. And that's why they had that excess.
Yes. And subsidy, the 2015 economic earthquake, it shook Nigeria. It wasn't only Konga that got hurt. People forget that, Konga was kind of this, it captured the minds of it because it was technology but there are many powerful brands and businesses in the telecom, AT Salat, folks fell over.
Yeah, a lot of people fell over.
Yes. And in 2018, 2019, it seems to happen with a periodicity.
Yes. It's a cycle.
Yeah. Recently, many businesses left Nigeria.
Yes.
And fell over. MTN swung into losses.
Yes.
Incredibly great brands. Yes, but you look at it now and everybody's swinging back into profits. Right, yeah. And so it tells you the pain is gone. And
But building Konga, and with that startup mindset, you guys were the early guys. You got money from I think you guys got at the zero interest period where monies were still optimistic. Now, it's a different ballgame.
Oh, okay. Interest rates were low and everybody, but yes. No, exactly. We raised a lot of money. So in that sense, we had an advantage because we were early, but we had some disadvantages because like now you have early stage investors that are very savvy, very clever, that have proven success.
But back then you did it.
No, yes. I raised my seed round from what was essentially a private equity fund. Right, which had no business doing early stage funding. And then there's also the curse of being first. Now I can dissect a term sheet in my sleep. But back then,
you didn't even know.
I know.
But you had the experience with Google.
I was a product manager or whatever. Yeah, nobody's showing you term sheets.
Oh, wow.
Right. But now you just smell a term sheet and know if this is bad.
What do you look out for? What should young entrepreneurs look out for?
In term sheets?
Yeah, like in any deal, we're trying to build. What are some things that
there are some things that used to happen back then that don't happen.
This is not illegal advice, by the way, but yeah.
No, sure. I don't think you should, as a young entrepreneur, I wouldn't advise you so much to pay attention to the terms. There are some classic things you should look out for, but but I think I would actually answer the question this way. The most important thing is you be aligned with your investor. That you resonate and you understand each other, and there's a mutual respect. And it's not, this person is not being condescending And I think it's important to take your time to talk to other investments that they've made, to see what those investee companies have, what their experiences are. Yeah, I think that's very important. But then, the other ones are just standard. You can run through Gemini and say, what are the red flags here?
Fair enough.
And it will tell you, yeah.
Fair enough. But then after Konga, you still found the fire to start something else, right? And of all things, you chose education.
Yeah.
Typically, people say education is edtech is zero gain. Don't play there. I've had a lot of warnings. People say, if you want to go broke, go into edtech.
Really?
Okay. They say the bumblebee did not hear about the law of aerodynamics. I need to come.
And it's still at its flight.
And it's still flying.
It's going on.
So I guess you're the bumblebee.
Or the bumblebee.
Because I heard that edtech is just zero. Don't play there. It's too risky.
K-12 edtech. So K-12, what we call in Nigeria basic education. So primary and secondary school edtech is actually very tough. It's actually very, very tough. I think the advice holds for K-12. But I think for tertiary, actually, there's a lot of opportunities. And for continuing education, there's a lot of opportunities. The ROI from the customer's point of view, the return on investment in fees or subscriptions or whatever, as the case may be, there's a more direct linkage to I pay this and, here's the earning. And then it's also very hard in K-12 because you can't get into the core educational experience. You have to go through multiple gatekeepers, the school's admin, the tech department. And then also with K-12, you have to deal with multiple stakeholders. There's you, the edtech company, there's the parent, there's the ultimate user. There might be a teacher or a lesson teacher in the picture. So there are all these stakeholders. The person using it is not the person that's paying for it.
Yeah.
Oftentimes. In tertiary, you see that also. The person using it might not be the person paying for it.
Yeah, but there's
yes, there's more leverage that the user has.
Agency.
There's more agency. Thank you. And so, but the needs, I think, though, that AI is going to make K-12 much more bankable. But why did I go? So at the time that I had started Konga, I had actually had two choices. It was either do Konga or education. And
so you just came back to the other choice after Konga.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the company that uLesson was incorporated before Konga.
Wow.
Yes.
The name?
No, it was incorporated. If you go check uLesson, CAC, you see that the name was changed from EduStar.
Oh.
And so it was initially EduStar. The first contracts given to uLesson team members was by EduStar. And then we changed the name later. And you see that EduStar was registered, I think, in 2007, 2006. And it's kind of, I don't know. I mean, my colleagues and I look at these things just like we're looking at insurance right now. And you hear that we're hearing the same thing now about insurance as to what you're saying. And maybe, maybe the naysayers would be right, but people are saying, oh no, it's impossible to crack this industry.
Oh no, I think it's possible. I think there's an approach I think should be taken.
Oh yeah? You're going to tell me?
Yeah.
For free?
Sure.
Okay. Nice.
I'll tell you what I think is. No, like I actually think. I mean, I'll say it on the podcast because I can say it anywhere really.
Yeah.
I actually think the best form of insurance that exists is Takaful.
Huh.
I actually think it's the best.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I think most people don't know about it.
Yeah, so where the insurance company is more aligned with the policyholders.
Yeah, I mean, like you kind of feel a shared benefit.
It's like mutual insurance.
Yeah.
It's Islamic insurance, but it's a higher order of insurance.
Yeah, and at the end of the year, if you don't make claims, you get
pay something. I actually really agree with you.
I think
I actually really agree with you. I think that we can do much more of Nigeria. You can structure mutual. So actually,
I think it kind of plays the Nigerian psyche.
Yes. Why are you keeping all these excess premiums if there were no claims? Give me something back.
Give me something back.
It makes sense. It's a more sustainable way of operating a company. I think actually the leading insurtech in the United States is called Lemonade, and they do exactly. It's like a Takaful kind of model. Really? Yes. They keep a fixed percentage of the premiums, And if there's no claims, they pay out. They don't give it back to you. I think they pay out to a charity of your choice or something like that.
That way.
Yeah, it's a variation
that fits their culture.
Yeah, it fits their culture.
They care so much about Nigerians. Give
my charity. Right.
So, but you building this thing. I mean, you've kind of given me your way of thinking that you are in an environment that grows like each business grows like a palm tree.
Yeah.
But I observe that you're very hands-on.
Yeah.
With whatever you're building, you're not necessarily detached.
No.
You actually do get on it.
Yeah.
So how do you? First of all,
I can be, not consistently.
Okay.
I can pick something that I feel like is important and I feel like I bring something unique to the team.
Yeah.
And then I'll just dive deep into it. And then there'll be some other facets of the company that I don't touch at all. Yeah.
So, but how do you run us through like how you approach these things? You just see something and then you say, I think I can take a stab at this. I think I'm going to have fun doing this.
Yeah.
Or I think I'm going to make a lot of money doing this. Or what runs through your mind in founding something? You smiled there like...
No, because the answer that ran through my mind was very trite and very a bit immature, so I just let me not go there. No, so the Nigerian economy is, I believe, bound to be an exceptionally strong and vibrant economy. I think this place is going to be incredible.
How have you not lost your optimism?
Yeah. Because you can't, we've just made really bad decisions for a long time, but how can this place not be vibrant and wealthy? And all the trends are moving in the right direction. The land is fertile. The weather is pretty much benign. The people are incredibly intelligent. You've got water resources. You've got hydrocarbons. You've got solid minerals. You pretty much everything you need to produce energy. This is the part that I don't understand, by the way. And sometimes I wonder, is there some grand conspiracy or something to keep us deindustrialized or something? This power thing is the part I don't understand, because it's not that.
It doesn't add up, yeah.
Something's not adding up. But it has everything that you require to be just incredible economy. The frustration I have is that we do the right things, but it's just happening slowly.
Right.
This administration, by the way, we've seen a raft of accelerated reforms. It's like the spirit of Lagos is in Abuja.
It's Abuja, which is good.
Which is good. I think we needed some Lagos in Abuja. So I think that's really, really good. But, it's you guys I'm actually really envious of, like people in their 20s, 30s. Oh, my goodness. I think this place is going to be... It's already happening. They say Nigeria is growing at 4 or 5%, which it is. I think maybe it might be a bit faster, but let's assume it is. But I think if you could localize Lagos, Abuja, maybe Port Harcourt, I think the growth rate is many times that. You go around Lagos, you see the real estate going up and the services being offered and the sophistication of the services and the people and the things they are talking about and their concerns. And it almost seems like as if Lagos and Abuja are pulling away from the rest of Nigeria. I won't be surprised if Lagos is... Actually, I think these numbers are out, but I don't know what they are. I won't be surprised if Lagos is growing faster than 10%. It's already doing China-type growth rates. Here, Abuja might be a bit less, but I think Abuja is also very high. So
but how do you're about to give us the secrets.
What's that?
How do you choose and...
Oh, it's sufficiently big. Big opportunities, they have to be big. And
how do you measure that?
Well, there are many ways you can measure it. The laziest way to do it is to look at other economies that are just a few steps ahead of Nigeria. So for me, the usual suspects are Indonesia and India and Brazil.
Okay.
That's always one of the first few questions I ask in the first few weeks of looking at an opportunity, is there an equivalent of this in Brazil? And if not, why? Is there an equivalent in India? And what do they do? and what's the regulatory environment look like? And then you start to look at something like that, some of these points. So in Nigeria, for example, the insurance sector just went through reforms, and the regulations just became quite progressive. I think the regulator is actually sort of very, very forward-looking. And the same thing happening in education. And this is the other thing I want to encourage young people to do. I know it's easy to be cynical about government and to want to stay away from regulation, but don't be too cynical, because there are things happening in the regulatory space, whether it's in financial services or in education or in healthcare services, that should give you reason to be optimistic. And you have to engage with government. There was a time when I was much younger, I swore I would never do anything that's regulated, but I feel very differently now.
Yeah, in a very I think all your business is currently under.
Yeah, and I'm alive, and and people treat you with respect, and so long as you're compliant, and sometimes regulations could be overreaching, but you try and just in your inner space say, okay, I understand why this is happening, and so anyway, sufficiently large opportunities. Can it be open to digitization? Are there analogs in other countries? If this business in India is worth X, am I happy with it being worth 10% of X in Nigeria? Is that meaningful? Is that worth spending my time on? What are the legacy players of the industry doing? Is there a way I can inject myself into this industry without fighting legacy players and reducing a fixed pie? So in the case of insurance, almost all of the insurance in Nigeria right now is corporate insurance. Almost nobody's looking at retail. Nobody is trying to insure, the younger generations and the retail customer. So I'm not here to compete for the fixed pie of corporate. I want to actually sort of crack open the retail segment, which could be huge. But again, and so can I work with existing stakeholders and not compete? Am I happy with everybody succeeding? And the same thing happens with Miva. One of the things I love about education, going to education now, is that nothing will give me more joy than to see more Mivas. I don't really. Yes, because the problem is so big.
I won't lie. I when I saw what Miva was doing, I was one of the people that was just praying for you guys. Like in my head, like let them do it, because I had.
Were you worried about us?
No. I mean, I was worried for you guys because obviously I had the prophecy that
She's a great lad.
But I had like cousins who had stayed back at home and couldn't go to school, and the reason was not because they didn't pass. They wrote the exams every year. They got it, but the reason was because there was a quota,
just limited capacity.
Yeah, and I was like, "What are we doing?"
Yeah.
We have such a large amount of young people.
Yes.
And these people were obviously intelligent.
Yes.
And they just couldn't do it.
Incredibly creative, young, and then just pent up demand. And then also the curriculum is,
And another one that bothers me right now is the medical aspect.
Yeah.
I don't even know who's going to fix that for us, because you have a lot of young people who actually want to study medicine.
Yes.
You have a global demand for medical doctors.
Yeah.
Let's not even talk about local, the local demand for medical. And then you still send those kids to go study physiology or physiotherapy.
And then, so the demand side is there. You see a lot of these problems in Nigeria. A lot of these strange problems.
Because over there, they are struggling to get their youths to want to study.
Yes.
Here, we have youths who want to study.
But I think part of it is we've just not... We're not, somehow we've lost a sense, I don't know if it lost is confidence. You see these problems in Nigeria where the demand side is strong, the building blocks to create supply of a good service or product are abundant in Nigeria, sometimes entirely, and yet there's no match. It doesn't, but you see this in all segments. You see it in what Dangote and Bua have done in the supply chain for cement.
Yeah.
The gypsum, all the ingredients to make the cement, the limestone is here.
Yeah.
But we were importing for decades. Yeah. You see it when somebody...
It's just like gas.
My brother, you see it in Plateau State when somebody tells me that in Plateau South. And it's not because of laziness. Sometimes there are real structural issues where somebody will tell you that they're hungry, but then there's fertile land. He's sitting on fertile land, or we don't have water, but then geologically, Nigeria is one of the least water-stressed countries in the world. There's literally somebody sitting on the valley, the plains of the valleys of the River Benue, but saying they don't have water. And you just have to sink a borehole and put up solar power, and you got water. So you see these problems all the time. So the same thing in education. There's no supply, but then, there have been many that have come before us. Indira Gandhi University in India, Open University of China, Open University of UK, University of South Africa, UNISA, even here in Nigeria, National Open University, which basically was built on the same principles and frameworks of Miva, just maybe a different manifestation of technology. But we're not serving the market. It didn't make any sense. I think Miva was just incredibly clear. Yeah. I didn't see how it wouldn't work. It was just very clear. And I think the risks are different for insurance, but I think that there's something compelling here. Also, Nigerians are sophisticated people. Yeah. Very intelligent, very sophisticated people. We understand the concept of protecting assets. Okay, so maybe we don't have a lot of assets. Actually, even that you call into question. What if I told you the installed base of all cars in Nigeria, installed base of all cars as an asset class in Nigeria is almost 50 trillion naira. And a large part of those cars, some even argue the majority, are uninsured. And yet this is arguably the most important asset class in terms of productivity to the government. Yes. The next asset class will be your smartphone. The installed base of the value of all smartphones in Nigeria is about 25 trillion naira. Unprotected, uninsured. And yet after cars, this is the next most important asset class in terms of productivity in Nigeria. And yet we don't have the ecosystems that deal with selling the insurance at the point of sale of the phone or the car. Yeah. We don't have the infrastructure, the networks, so that when you want to repair your car, an insurance player can say, go to that repair person.
And continue.
And, go and repair. If you look at the sophistication of these ecosystems in other markets, if you have an accident in other markets, they'll oftentimes come and tow the car, take it to a certified repair shop where the cost of repair are dimensioned and controlled. So
like a HMO for your car.
It's like an HMO. So HMOs and gadgets and cars have the same feature. A human body breaks, HMO sends you to a hospital. In other markets, phone breaks, they send you to a certified repair. Car breaks, send you to a certified repair.
That's why when we buy used cars, we have the detail of everything
that's happened.
Yeah.
But in Nigeria, you think about it, all the parts of that repair ecosystem for the car exist. The phones are being sold, as many as 20, 30,000 phones a day. So the phones are being sold.
That's what we sell?
Yeah, it's huge volumes. It's massive. Tens of thousands of phones a day. And so the phones, but it's happening in a fragmented way across many markets in Abuja, Lagos, Onitsha. It's happening everywhere. Phones are being sold. The bulk of the smartphones are in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, but they're being sold. The repair folks are there, who some of them are trained by themselves, but they can fix phones with their eyes closed. But nobody's tied. The insurers.
So it's a typical PE roll-up kind of opportunity.
Yeah, except I don't think Micah is interested in owning those assets. We're not interested in owning repair shops or retailers. But we can coordinate. We can build software to orchestrate. And we can work with the insurers to create an experience where if your phone screen breaks, within 24 hours, we've assigned you a repair shop nearby that you can go, and within an hour, your phone is fixed and you're on your way. And we don't need to own any of those assets.
Do you typically just sit there and say, I'm looking for a unicorn-like opportunity? That's what I'm doing.
No, I actually don't like that word. I don't like those cliches too much. I think it creates a lot of pressure on you. And, one of
but you deal with investors, you raise. So.
Yes. And I tell them even now that that's not what I'm optimizing for. I'm not, if it happens as a natural consequence, I think it just creates undue pressure and cheapens I think one of the things that we deal with a lot also, what does that even mean? A unicorn. I think one of the things we deal with in tech, can I say this might be a little controversial,
no, please.
Is that we have this sense of exceptionalism, that we are somehow better than the other businesses of Nigeria. We're better than Market Square and MedPlus and H Medics and Dangote and FCMB and Sterling Bank. Incredible brands built over sometimes decades. The real businesses, strong businesses. Traded on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, financed through all kinds of other different means, not sort of classic VC. And there's this sense that somehow we are better. In some ways, let me admit, digital allows you leverage that you can't get anywhere else. It's really cool stuff. Like, the marginal cost. Digital is very cool in that sense. In that specific narrow operational sense, it's very powerful. But digital is still subjected to the laws of gravity of the country and the macro.
True.
Right. I mean, why don't we describe GT Bank as a unicorn? This, again, is this sense of exceptional, because these are powerful businesses. They're unicorns.
Right?
Zenith Bank, they are more than unicorns. But we've created this image in our mind that, no, I'm more interested in real business, real economics, real quest for cash flow, sustainability, however long it takes. You might be sitting here in year 5 and you're worth only $100 million. But even then, let me correct myself. Who says $100 million is only?
True.
Why does it have to be only?
Mitch.
Anything over $10 million, it's generational wealth.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, too, I think the key thing is the fundamental of business is still preserved. It's profit, loss, break even, cash flow, positive or negative.
Exactly. And I think the shifting, even in the classic sort of venture capital environment, even in the West, in the traditional sort of legacy venture capital industry, I think the thinking is shifting now.
Yeah.
Over the last funding cycle or two in Africa, we've seen that there's something off. How VCs always give us talk about product market fit. And I think they're now turning the mirror to themselves and say, come, do we have product market fit?
So that was my next question, actually. I was going to say.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, I think also the other thing we're seeing that I'm really happy with, if you look at there are guys that are doing incredible things. Voltron, Ventures Platform, these are incredible guys.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that they're Nigerian.
Yeah.
Not to hate on my friends that are foreign VCs.
I mean, you have some of them.
Yeah, exactly. But I love the fact that they're doing so well. And I know that these conversations are now starting to happen. What does this mean? How quickly do we pursue cash flow positive and profitability? Do we... what does it really mean to mentor and guide an entrepreneur in the Nigerian context?
Can just give you money and run away and just say, oh,
yes. And then on the other side also, I mean, I think we've had a disproportionate... See, you can't run away from your environment. You try and stop. If you don't have product market fit, you end up with strange things.
How do you mean?
I mean, look at the country we're in. I mean, we're all talking about unicorns and we're trying to do all of this great work and build these multi-billion-dollar companies. But at the same time, GDP per capita in Nigeria is $1,000. Poverty is incredibly deep. If you had $1 million in Nigeria, it's life-changing money.
Yes. And
so you can create this phenomenon, and I think we saw, nobody wants to talk about it. The VCs don't like talking about it. But if, and I've been talking about the VCs a lot, but let's talk about the entrepreneurs, because there's also a challenge on that side where an entrepreneur, this also could be a bit controversial. I don't mean it to be, just trying to be honest. You can have an entrepreneur that raises a seed round of a few $1 million. and the VC is looking for $100 million exit. But for that person who may not have the principles that the VC believes that they have, and the commitment to the vision that they have articulated themselves, that seed round might be their exit. Your seed is my exit. Right? I mean, I don't know if you know where I'm coming from. Your seed is my exit. I've exited. And I think we saw some of that, but nobody wants to talk about it publicly. You know?
The way you said that, I had to make one put and say, what did you say?
No, I'm not trying to be clever, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
You're giving me $3 million.
Lifestyle has begun.
Yeah, I'm sorted. I'm going to move corporate HQ to some Western city.
I'll make it the tech visa.
Yeah, so, and then get a temp visa. And, in every way, in lifestyle, in immigration.
I just want to keep it running like that. I'm fine.
Yes, I mean,
I'm not looking to get you $100 million back.
No, there are only 4,000 people in Lagos with over $1 million. So you've already, and there are 100 million Nigerians. So how many have $1 million? So your seed is my exit. I'm done. Thank you. So this question of product market fit also.
The business need to answer it.
It shows up there also, and it's a challenge on the entrepreneur side.
I mean, but you have also moved into the investing space too yourself.
Yes.
I mean, you have the Honey Badger Fund.
Yes.
How is that going? Like, what exactly is your thesis there?
Yeah, it's not been as active as I like. I've made a few investments.
I mean, it was your own money now.
Yes, yeah. No
LP.
No LP money. No, and I think that that will always be my own money. I think it's kind of morphing into a family office a little bit. Yeah. So it's not the classic model of go and try and use your own money to get some leverage. And even though I think if I tried to build a fund, then I think it would do well. And but I really enjoy building.
So are you sure maybe that's what the ecosystem needs though?
What, more builders?
No, more builder investors.
Oh yes, yeah, absolutely. I think you go through a transition, and it goes back to this thing about you can't escape the gravitational pull of your environment. When did India start doing very well? There were certain things, and I'm not sure in what sequence, but there were certain things that happened in India. First of all, the local venture institutional investors took over the game, at least the early stage. So the local guys started to pick up the slack. The operators started moving into the investment space. That's happened in India over the past 10 years. And then, so yes, I want to say much of the successful IPOs in India that we've seen over the past 5, 6, 10 years happen on their local market. I think this is also very important.
Exits.
Yeah, and no, that you exit locally.
Okay.
I don't think Dangote is being unwise by floating his business in Nigeria. And again, here's the sense of exceptionalism. Why should others be different? Why should we be different in tech? What would it really mean? And this is without, how can I say this? If Miva, for example, grew to become 300,000 students, which that chance is there.
Yeah, I mean, currently you're at 27,000, right?
Yes, but it's basically like almost like, I don't know, tripling or something every year. Doubling, tripling every year. Wow. Yeah, and the speed is increasing.
What's the size of a typical university? Let's compare it to a physical university. What's the size?
Well, we're now somewhere close to the largest private university in Nigeria.
That's which one?
Babcock.
Babcock is up to 27,000?
Yeah, so we're just crossing them. So we're 27,000. But we're not as big as the public universities yet. So, and National Open University, those are still, quite large. ABU and, if
ABU is like how many?
I think these are yeah, no. I think they are all sort of 50,000 below. Once you cross 50,000, I think the only one there is National Open University at 300,000.
Oh,
yeah, 300,000 active students. It's huge. It's a massive university. That gives you a sense of where Miva is going. So let's say Miva gets to 300.
National Open University.
I think it's held in trust for the federal government of Nigeria.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So, we become 300,000 and we basically are like a noun now, which is basically we are educational infrastructure.
But also something that interested me about your numbers was the fact that it's actually not just Nigerians in Nigeria.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Something like it's growing. A year ago, it was 2% of the student body or so was outside Nigeria. Now it's 7%. It's mostly Nigerians, but now we're seeing some foreigners.
Yeah.
Which makes you wonder where this thing is going. Will this always be a Nigerian university or a global South university or a global university or whatever? But this feeds into what I was saying, actually, to the degree that it remains a Nigerian university or an African university and it's important to Nigeria and becomes educational infrastructure that is strategic to the country, the least you would want to do is float that business or IPO it on the Nigerian Stock Exchange.
Yeah.
I think that just makes sense for many reasons.
Mm.
I think it would be a mistake to IPO at least exclusively in London or New York. I think that what does that mean? What are you saying? So I think India is starting to answer some of these questions where a lot of their very profound companies in fintech and e-commerce and a lot of these SaaS companies are IPOing locally. So this is what I mean. You can't escape but there's no depth in the Nigerian. Let me correct this. One of the points that come up a lot when Nigerian startups or VCs, when I talk to my friends and we talk about IPOing in Nigeria, the concern is the depth and the liquidity of the market.
Not the market, yeah.
Well, why is there no depth and liquidity of the market? It's because we're still developing as a country.
Yeah.
It's not like Nigerians don't understand the concept of stocks.
We do.
For decades, for a century, we know stocks. We understand stocks. We understand insurance. We're sophisticated people, like I said. But you can't outgrow your environment. So again, back to this question of being a unicorn, what does that mean? If who confers you the value of being a unicorn? What discounts do you suffer if you're floating in New York or London?
But thinking about the Miva and education, it's quite interesting that obviously you're building an ed tech, but you're also a tech person. And I'm sure you observe in the global tech community, there's been this whole drive towards not necessarily getting a degree and education not being the thing necessarily, just knowledge, especially in the age of AI. What are you thinking about that? What's your perspective about that? Because people will say, I don't need any of this anymore because I just need a skill.
Yeah, I know. I think.
Do you think everybody should go to university?
No, definitely not. The clear answer to that last question is no. But I think we make these, we tell ourselves these simple stories sometimes. And if you look on that, the story is a bit more complex. Yes. 2 examples came to my mind while you were talking. Maybe I'll just share both of them. So the first one is everybody was so convinced that because of EVs and electric vehicles and all of that, hydrocarbons are going away. Turns out people are still using petrol, even as EVs are rising. And petrol will continue to be important for decades, which is why, again, Alhaji Aliko Dangote is confident enough to build. Yes, it's a massive thing now. So it's not that one negates the other. So again, so another one that came to mind is I remember Amazon started making all these investments in robotics in their warehouses. And of course the fear came up, you're going to replace all the workers and it's going to be horrible and you're trying to fire everybody. And Andrew Jassy, who at the time I think was like COO or something, said, no, it's like, we're going to keep hiring while we put robots in place. I think it's the same thing. The demand for conventional, to the degree you want to call it that, because even that in its nature is changing, tertiary education is going to continue to grow. There's still incredible demand for certification-centric, regulated education. It's incredibly powerful. But you're right that there is a new strata that is also emerging of people who are, in some cases, self-taught, which comes with its own challenges and problems. It's almost like going to the Olympics without a coach. And do it, but it's not advised.
Yeah.
So there'll be people like that. There'll be micro certifications. So there'll be this like fragmentation of experiences.
Yeah.
But I think the core, bedrock experience of certified, regulated tertiary instruction is going to be here for a very, very, very long time. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. It's still very important to even people themselves for a whole host of reasons.
Okay.
Education is much more than just the consumption of content. It's not just watching a movie.
Yeah.
There are many things that go into that. Like I said, there's the coach aspect. There's the fact that, if you leave me in the gym to bench press and you went into the gym with a coach and somebody that's telling you, no, we just add one more plate. It's only in a few months you'll be stronger than I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you need that pressure to perform better, which can come from faculty or your peers. So that part is there.
Yeah.
There is, somebody stitching together for you the experience and saying, learn this after this, and I've audited this, and Google people, which is what we do at Miva. We've got, basically industry leaders auditing our programs, and, this is what you should be studying right now. There's that part. There's the assessments and the fact that it's third party and somebody's providing those assessments, which you might not be as rigorous on. We're human. You won't be as rigorous with yourself if you had to assess yourself.
Yeah.
So there's a whole range of things that happen. But the most exciting things that are happening is actually positive. And that's why I think this will always be, we can offer these rich experiences now for relatively low cost.
Yeah.
And so, that's why Miva is so affordable. I think that's one of the things all our students say is that this is incredibly affordable and the quality is so high. And that's because technology is changing the cost structure.
I think, but something that bothers me the most, since we're talking about education, right?
Yeah.
Is the K through 12s.
Yeah.
My mom runs a school in Nasarawa. So that's like her passion project. She loves it.
Oh.
And she struggles because she can't charge so much for it because they can afford it.
Yes.
So what she does is, I'll say it in the podcast anyway, but she kind of does some bootlegging here and there of materials to try and make it affordable for...
Makes sense. So many players are doing... How much, if you don't mind me asking, do you know how much she charges? Just range?
Like in terms of school fees?
School fees per term.
I think it's 20-something or 30-something thousand.
And still, it's unaffordable for many people.
Yes, sir.
And so that tells you that it needs to be much cheaper. And then you need to ask yourself, though, and this is, not criticizing your mom or the thousands of others that like your mom's approach. What goes into that cost? Because even when I hear that number, I suspect your mom is doing it as a passion project.
So to be sincere, I told her to close at the school.
Yeah, there you go. Because
it's probably it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
Because
she's probably subsidizing it, right?
I told her she is, because when you do the maths, reading, she has not put in the infrastructure costs.
Yes.
Of the facility because
she's just charging for the variable costs that they're marking up.
Yeah, because then she always had the property.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sure she's got so much in service.
So you're pointing to where I'm going.
So where I'm going to this. So there's a cycle I see. She can't charge so much because the people there won't pay so much. She can't pay so much to the teachers.
Yes.
And then what's now happening is because her school is in Masaka.
Yes.
So a lot of the teachers left the job.
Yeah.
And then they're now working for Sunrise Water Park, which can pay them much more.
Yeah.
So they'll be doing. So I'm now looking at that. Okay, so that means the quality of the location affects the amount of money that people can pay.
Yeah.
And it affects the quality of teachers you can get.
Yes.
And that would affect the quality of education you can. So sometimes I do an audit on the school and I go for the events and everything. And I see the teachers, I'm like, what is this person able to teach this child? And then there's been some systems that she's tried to put in place, but it's still not sufficient.
No.
So, and then this is Masaka.
Yes.
Masaka is like town.
I think that the cost per term for education needs to be maybe...
Because if you go to Kano or you go to somewhere else...
No, people can't afford this. You go to Langtang, people can't afford. You go to villages, people can't afford this. I think the cost needs to be at least half what even your mom is charging, and I think that there's a world in which you can do that and still make a profit.
How do you keep how do you keep the quality? Because then again, bear in mind, there's also, the good thing, one of the things she's trying to do is she's trying to keep with the whole standard of, I tell her not to do it though, but she tries to, I think she's just using it to do her retirement. Because, because she's trying to make sure that, she's trying to make sure that there's not so many students in class. Because our competitors around there will put like 100.
But the math doesn't add up.
Class.
Yeah, the math can't add up, and it's because, so like you were very correctly pointing out, she's not even accounted for the infrastructure costs. She's probably just looking at all her salaries and variable cost and then marking that up. She's not probably looking at depreciation. But if you kind of take a school and the assets that make up the operation and you break it apart, you find that there's actually a lot of those assets that are not required. So it's a theory that we're like myself, my colleague Anyekeme, me and her most especially, but it's a conversation happening around uLesson. But her and I have spent a lot of time for the past like few months. This is when we always talk about this. We think that there's a model that will allow for the cost of education to be much, much lower, will still be high quality, and you basically will. I think it's okay. So, what angle should I start with this from? I can either talk about how it's already started in places like the United States, or this is the way education used to be. Okay. So, how education started is oftentimes, and it's still that way in a large part of the world, learning would happen in some kind of public building. So it could be a school or a mosque, some kind of public or community center. Yeah. So that real estate is not dedicated for education. It's a heavy bit of
capital cost
to carry for something that is effectively not used after 3:00. Whereas there are other assets that are used once a week that are available for the balance of the week. So we need to rethink how the assets are used. A church is used on Sunday, maybe for midweek service on Wednesday.
That's all.
And that's all. It's empty. Yeah. So why shouldn't it be used for other purposes? Why can't we think about church design with school design in mind? So now you have your fixed cost. What exactly is education? You're providing technical instruction that is guided by some curriculum, and then you've got adult supervision to make sure that the kids who are still developing their sense of morality and values do not basically turn into Lord of the Flies and finish themselves. So when they get along, so you need some kind of adult supervision. So that supervision can come from some member of the community that's respected. And then the instruction part can increasingly, we're now starting to see, be handled by artificial intelligence. And the future we see is where you can pipe basic education in that's highly interactive. Just imagine your mind's eye. It's an avatar that is teaching basic education. The child could decide that avatar is a realistic person or a cartoony person or a zebra or whatever it is. But that character is teaching addition, division, mathematics, moral instruction. And I think this works really well for basic education, because really, what is basic education? You're teaching somebody to read and to think analytically and to have values and morality. It's not the fragmentation of a university experience where you've got dozens and dozens of degrees. It's a limited body of knowledge. Yeah. In fact, I would argue that even that body of knowledge can sit locally on a hardware in 5 years. I think your floor cost actually is the hardware. But I think that the marginal cost of the software and the AI is going to fall. So the role we think that uLesson will play is orchestrating these things. They're called micro schools. They're taking off in America, where parents come together in a neighborhood and then they'll pick somebody's house, and then that house becomes the school.
So actually, I was discussing this with Anyekeme, and I told her about a lot of friends in my ecosystem now.
You want to pull together and form a school.
Are doing homeschooling, yeah.
That's microschooling.
And it's something that I personally have told like my business partners that I see.
It's incredible.
The moment we get our office space, I would like to have a micro school for all our staff.
Yeah, and there are some secondary challenges, like how do you batch the kids, multi-age, but those are secondary challenges. Those are not core challenges. The core challenges is going to be fixed. The core challenge is going to be fixed with AI.
But what about the fact that the costs of a form factor, like
The device
cost.
That's the limiting. That's the limiting factor. That's why I said that's the flaw. Is that the tablets and the computers and things like that will ultimately have to be funded by that school. But if you run the numbers, which we have, if you maintain the computing equipment, but you get rid of the real estate because it's now a shared space, you get rid of all the overhead that is a derivative of the real estate, like the security guard, the cleaners, that's gone. If you run those numbers, you maintain the device cost, the depreciation of the device, and you have EdTech coming in, you're charging for that. You've got this adult supervision there. Basically, you can drop the cost of this experience by 40 to 70%. Our objective analysis. So I don't know what your mom should be charging, but there is a world where she's charging less than 25,000 naira and still making a margin. But we have to think about it differently. The problem now is that the states of Nigeria, or many provinces across Africa, many times basic education is not regulated at the national level. There's some subnational regulations. They don't even recognize this micro school model. It's not that they are opposed to it, but there's no framework for it. That's the only thing stopping us from doing this right now.
Really?
Yes. I can deliver basic education right now. It's just that I might not deliver the zebra or the avatar that's talking.
Well, you can do that eventually with AI too.
Yes, absolutely. In a few years, we're going to be able to do, but I can deliver the 2 + 2 is what? And no, you didn't get that right.
What do you mean the avatar, like in the customization?
Oh, yes, because you have to engage the child. The flaw we had with uLesson before.
Apple do that with their, like, for all their avatars?
It's coming, exactly. But these are still premium experiences.
Oh, okay.
And then they need to work their way down. You're absolutely right. This is it. So it's already happening. Where you can tell a child, what you want is for the child to show up at that community school, switch on, and not have to switch on the computer and not be self-directed to say, I'm watching this or that a day. Instead, the machine says, what are we? Okay, the machine actually tells the child, today we're going to do admission. We're going to do addition. And you start off with that. And so the machine directs the child. And that can be done right now. We're doing that right now. So that is the future I see. Generally speaking, if you are asking questions like this out of school children phenomenon in Nigeria, if you observe things where the question doesn't seem to have an answer, in my experience, and you are racking your brain and your brain hurts and you can't find the answer, it generally is because you're asking the wrong question. Or the framework or the way you're thinking about it is not the right way to be thinking about it. I don't think we're going to build brick and mortar schools to work our way out of the out of school problem in Nigeria. If you even just look at the capex of a school, you're adding government inefficiency rather, and all of that.
It's not scalable.
You can't, there's no state has the fiscal budget, maybe a handful of states, Delta, Akwa Ibom, the oil, but even they will be stretched. There must be a role for distributed learning that happens within a community that uses digital technologies.
And that's why uLesson exists.
Yeah, I think this is where we're going to go in the next year or two.
Looking at my generation and even generations after me, I'm in my 30s. I know that there are lots of people in their 20s. The ecosystem, everyone is trying to find a footing.
Yeah.
What are you seeing that we may be missing? I mean, like you said, some people see this this is my exit. Yeah. And I mean, we've seen a lot of that and we've learned. Well, I hope we're learning. What are you seeing? I mean, someone recently told me that there's no money for a first-time founder. And right now, except if you are looking somewhere else, even with the existing local funds, kind of like, I don't know if you saw these young boys in Abuja that raised some money, Terra Industries.
Oh, yes.
I mean, it was totally...
Yeah, Nathan.
Yeah.
Very smart, very, very smart guy.
Yeah, I never knew them till then, but I was really impressed, So, but what are you seeing and what do you think is missing in the ecosystem?
No, I think it's interesting that you mentioned that. I think that... I think a lot of it comes down to just the fact that we are trying to adopt an entire ecosystem from markets that are just so far ahead of us in terms of industrialization and capital depth. And it's just the economies are just structured fundamentally different.
Yeah.
And we're trying to import those ecosystems, hook, line, and sinker into Nigeria, and it can't work. Let's just take a step back.
That will itself.
Yeah, exactly. So you end up with just misused capital that isn't used. I think I think there are real problems to be solved here. I think there are problems that can be addressed by venture capital here. I'm especially excited about the local players that are rising up. But I think that the problems here as of now are still of a nature that they will develop slower than their Western counterparts.
Okay.
Many times they will require some sort of offline component that could be human because of the trust deficit that exists in many segments.
Okay.
Exists in education, it exists in insurance. There's a trust deficit is just generally widespread in Nigeria.
We're a low trust environment.
Yes. And then I think that that's also compounded with the fact that oftentimes in Africa, Nigeria, and I think you can say this about Africa, to succeed, you often have to vertically integrate and do things. If it's not even just value chain vertical integration, you definitely have to do things that you don't have to do in other markets.
Kind of like what you guys had to do when you said Konga. You had to do your
bike, warehousing, all kinds of things. Look at what you and I just discussed. I mean, we're a licensed broker, but we're thinking about building networks of repair centers. But that's something we're going to take on ourselves. So that means that when you're thinking about capital allocation, you have to trade off between just sheer penetration and vertical integration. So it means that in the beginning, you might have to start slow while you build out the system before you start scaling.
Okay.
And I think what we're seeing here is a lot of our young people think, a lot of our entrepreneurs are building for very particular sort of segments in the value chain, trying to scale that, not trying to vertically integrate, trying to use VC money to subsidize growth. That just doesn't work here. There are some outliers where the business model is just incredibly, the cost structure, the nature of it, the demand of it. Like an example would be Paystack. Incredible outlier. Just a great outcome for those guys.
Yeah.
But that's an outlier. It's not the typical, case in any way, shape, or form.
True.
Paystack actually speaks to what I'm talking about. They have hit boots on the ground, bridge trust, integrate into those POS machines, and go deep into the market. That's kind of the more typical kind of path.
Yeah. Like money.
They're both ending up in sort of the same destination. They're both becoming microfinance banks and going into lending, I suppose.
Yeah.
But very different kind of paths. Yes. So I think that this is kind of cliche. I don't think many folks are solving the right problems.
Yeah.
I think we're solving for problems that are maybe a bit Western. I've had my own share in the past of being guilty of that, but I think that you see a lot of that going on. I think that there's a lot of impatience. But the biggest thing I think that is going on here that we can disabuse ourselves of is this notion of being exceptional.
Well,
you're a business with an income statement, a balance sheet, and a cash flow statement.
The startup name is distracting.
Yeah, it makes you feel special, and you want to take a picture and be on the cover of some great magazine and cross your arms. Doesn't make you different. It's, there are people building real businesses, and we can learn a lot from some of these people. Incredible founders, Chicken Republic and H-Medics and MedPlus. These are real incredible companies. God is good. Gig Logistics. These are incredible companies. Sun Motors, Dangote is just an incredible example. And I wish we can find a funding model that actually can. I think the digital, zero marginal cost for the next customer thing is very powerful. But I think if we can find a funding model for entrepreneurs that want to build renewable power plants and, healthcare delivery, long patient capital that is willing to wait for something to start from small and, grow over time. I think we need a lot of those also here.
Okay.
Digital is attractive. on the surface because it just looks like zero to boom, you know.
Yeah.
But the young person I'm excited about is the person who is tackling, it could be digital or not digital, but the business that they will grow gradually, you know, from the age of 20-something into the age of 30-something or 30-something into 40-something. And by the time they are read about, they're already dominating. And, you know, but they're just, you know, quietly sort of just building this giant.
Yeah.
And we've seen this thing happen before. I think we need to look at the Access banks and those stories and the GT banks. And these guys just kind of put their heads down and just went for it. And these were technological stories still.
Actually, they didn't just have that tag.
Exactly. Startup, unicorn. I want to be that pressure or aspiration wasn't there. They built incredible multi-billion-dollar companies, and they still don't call themselves unicorns.
They're just a big business.
Just a big profitable business that pays out a bunch of dividends.
A whole bunch of dividends.
Yeah, and that's another thing also that we build these businesses for capital gains. Build it, sell it one day. And
that's what I was about to ask you, actually.
I've had my fair share of exits.
Should we build and sell?
No, my philosophy on that is changing. I think that there's nothing wrong with building to sell, but there's also nothing wrong with building for cash yield and for dividends and for holding an asset that's, you know, paying out dividends every year. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all.
I don't think that's attractive to most VCs, right?
No, they don't like dividends. In fact, many times they will put terms in your investment docs that will forbid you from paying those. Yeah.
Oh my God. They'll put terms.
Oh yeah. There are many times there are terms that will forbid you from doing that. Without the specific investor's approval, you can't
Because pay dividends.
Yes, and so what does that mean? Because the Nigerian retail investor loves dividends.
Yeah, we just love that business that keeps paying us every year.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Why do you have to sell?
So you mean you're not planning to sell Micah or sell?
No. I've told.
I think I saw something out there. NIA something near university.
Oh yeah, it's part of uLesson. We're seeking a license in Kenya right now.
Wow.
Yes, and it's very exciting. Very exciting.
So you're not planning to sell. This is life.
No, the investors will come and leave me here with retail investors. There's no reason to. Why? I mean.
Well, what will be the exit for them, though?
For them, we will work hard to get them an exit. I've got one investor right now in uLesson that just because of the way their fund is structured, they have to seek an exit. So we're working closely to make sure to see that happens. But there'll be other players that may want to take them out. There may be retail investors that want this asset. I mean, I think. As a business, as a university, of course, Miva is fantastic impact educational infrastructure. As a business, it's an incredible business because it suits, you know, the needs of very specific types of investors, pension funds, you know, large mutual funds, folks that like cash yield, investors who, you know, Islamic investors who may not be comfortable with sort of conventional banking, but want very strong cash yielding businesses. There's a whole range of them like that may be open to taking out our investors. uLesson Miva has been very cash efficient. We haven't used a lot of money to get to where we are.
Really?
No.
You raised, didn't you raise?
Yeah, we raised. And sometimes we didn't announce, but they were always small amounts. And now we're looking to build Kenya on the back of cash flows from Nigeria, by God's grace. So I guess it's just one gets to one's point in one's life where it's not the announcements and
yeah, I mean, you're always media shy and
fundraising announcements.
You don't talk.
It makes hiring more expensive too when you announce. You negotiating with talent, you really want this person, and then you release, Series B, $50 million.
Well, let's talk about talent. How do you find talent?
It's become much easier.
Yeah, obviously, because everyone will want to work for C.
Yeah, well, I don't. Yeah, so well, that has helped a bit, but it's also my colleagues. So we have sort of an infrastructure, a bit of a, I guess, mafia or whatever, network of people. Some at uLesson, Miva, folks I've worked with at Konga. So you can just tap that network and
you find something.
Yeah, no, it always pops up very quickly, and then we've gotten much better at being able to discern what fits and who we might enjoy working with. We've gotten very good at that, really good.
What do you look out for? What do you look out for?
Oh, they're very specific things we question. We try. There's several things, but one thing, for example, is we'll very quickly try and understand if what you say in your CV that brought you into this interview room, you actually did those things. This is a very simple thing.
How do you ascertain that?
Lots of questionings and listening for the right responses. People who actually did work, and I can say this without people being able to game the system. If you actually did the work, you'll be able to go into incredible detail. If you didn't, you find that those individuals will very quickly just gloss over the answers. And you go back and ask again, but can you tell me more? And then they'll gloss over again. So there's some things you just can't. And then in terms of finding talent, I have to be honest, the talent pool in Nigeria now is just so much better than even 5 years ago. And there's much higher supply of engineers, product managers. We have some of the most incredible product. It used to be so hard to find a product manager, but now you're just finding incredible product managers and designers and QA, and the talent base is so much wider now. So the supply side is easier also. And yeah, it's much easier.
But what about, if I was going to ask a question, but I'll just ask it nonetheless. Though.
Yeah.
Because I know it's a bit easier for you, but I'll still ask it.
Yeah.
What about fundraising?
Fundraising is not so easy for me. Or for Micah, I've subjected myself to the process of actually doing it, even though I can fund this business myself. But I've actually opted to take a coach to the Olympics. I think it's going to make a difference. Somebody sort of hold your feet to the fire and hold you accountable. And I find I just work better when there's somebody, a stakeholder that I know is sitting next to me and I have to be accountable to them. It's better to
intentionally keep yourself under accountability.
Oh yes, it's better to take a coach to the Olympics than go yourself. It's better. So it's not trivial. It's not easy. There are some parts of it that are a bit tricky. Right now, we're raising a bit of a seed round for Micah. I'm participating. Honey Badger Fund is participating, investing myself. So there are some tricky bits here and there. I try and put aside the sense of not entitlement. What's the word I'm looking for? That, I've done this before, and so
but there are a lot of people that are investing in you just because you've done it.
Yes, but I think that's a dangerous thing. I think I don't like the notion that you should treat me differently because I've done this before. I think it's important that you still
treat you differently.
Yeah,
that's not the truth.
Yeah, maybe I should do a crowdfunding round for Micah. Actually, will you invest in my insurance business?
Give me
your 15K. No, yeah. You give me your 50K.
Yes. No, actually, I will. I will. Yeah. I'll find any way I can to ensure that I invest.
I think crowdfunding is actually really interesting. Maybe it would be for me. The problem I have with it is the reporting requirements, because now your numbers will be.
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
Yeah, it will be everywhere.
It's a lot of people. But then how do you balance?
And then I think there's a limit actually. Nigeria has a limit on that. I think you can only do 100 million naira.
Yeah, okay.
So then you have to go abroad to do it.
Yeah, maybe Kickstarter or something. Yeah. And I think for me, I think something I would like us to just talk about briefly before we close is how do you handle a situation? I mean, you've grown lots of businesses. I came across a quote recently, and someone said, the problem with most African businesses is not becoming successful, but managing success in terms of when growth comes, governance and the likes, to ensure that there is some form of accountability. Yeah. And I think we've seen a lot of startups also suffering from lack of
these issues, governance and accountability. I mean, I think if you haven't put these things in place by the time you scale, I think you have some serious problems. So, for us, for example, I can talk about it. It's here there's rarely a decision in which I will take a loan and be dictatorial about. I just don't believe it. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, interestingly, you told me about one that even about the logo.
Yeah.
I said I told them not to, but everybody voted against.
Exactly. And so I just, you accede to the team. That's how we run everything. And so, first of all, you kind of have to...
Have you always been like that? From Konga days?
No. I think when I was much younger, there was the expectation and the pressure that you somehow have to know everything. That was what I believed a great leader looked like. That somehow you have to have this prescient sense of what's going to happen tomorrow. You have to know everything. But it's kind of simple now in retrospect, but now I realize, that your role is actually to find really good people, very smart people, the Beatles of rock or the NWA of hip hop, and put them together. And these are people that only want to work with other great people. And then you kind of have to play this role of a
Quincy Jones.
Yes, exactly, and making sure that everybody's...
So you provide a thriller.
Yes, exactly. So that's changed completely. So, and then it's also imposing, like Micah, for example, now, which is a new startup. I'm so grateful. We found an incredible auditor. So I know from day one, I want monthly audits, even the investors are not obliging me to do that. You start to realize the power of some of these things, of setting up these systems from the very beginning. It also depends on what you and your colleagues are optimizing for. We want to build a giant by every means. We're not playing in uLesson or Miva to build a middling company. We want to build a company that by God's grace has, a 35-story building in the central area of Abuja.
I was actually impressed with this one.
This will be our guest house one day.
Amen.
Amen to that, right? So we want to build huge things and large things, but we know that to do that, you can't do that on the back of one person's charisma or one person's intellect or this other person. No, these have to be institutions. And then we also keep telling ourselves, having knowledge before something happens is very powerful. The fact that we've seen incumbent companies stagger, and we've seen that when companies become big and scaled, bloat and inefficiency and politics creep in. So you will very often hear in the halls of Miva and uLesson, no politics, no ego, no politics. It's something we actively, we have something we recite before every meeting. There's a senior team. Yes, our values and our mission.
Okay.
And we're constantly very deliberately reminding ourselves of the things that destroyed other great companies. And I think by doing that, it's almost like you're immunizing yourself against these things. But you have to do this before you turn cash flow positive.
Why?
Because
what happens when cash flow?
It's happening now to Miva. Sustained cash flow positive. On the one hand, I can tell you, it's not like I'm some person that likes pain and don't like sleeping well. I can tell you, my brother, when you turn cash flow positive, your sleep gets deeper. You sleep so much better. Your mind is just
addressed.
Yeah, somehow the ambient temperature of Abuja is 2 degrees cooler. Everything is better. But it can also mean complacency. It can mean starting to believe that you're a master of the universe and you don't have to innovate and you can coast. I can see how companies fall into that. Even, the companies that I've created are profitable. Your spirit shifts, and with the good can come some bad.
Is that why you always start new companies?
No, not at all. I mean, I'm still very much involved in Miva. And like I said, I'm not selling it. I hopefully will be here till they wheel me out or something. No, the reason I start new companies is because that's the part I'm good at. That's the part I enjoy.
What's this, Papa? In all of this?
Starting
it?
Okay, in the sense that, yes, I like the uncertainty, not the uncertainty, what am I saying?
The crafting.
Yes, the crafting, the pulling the team together, seeing the nervous system of the company wake up. That's very nice. It's like one of the happiest things. So like now, for example, like building this particular company, many, many years ago, I would have seen, like if this was supposed to be there, I would personally pick it up and take it there. And you're just running around trying to do everything. But now with this insurance company, and we've put together, the team is just amazing. Just such a good team. So I will very deliberately leave that there now. And then you come back tomorrow and you see that somebody's moved it. And so you know that the nervous system of the company is starting to
Wake up.
is waking up. Yes. And people are innovating and solving for problems, some of which you saw, some of which you didn't see. They're identifying problems, solving for them, talking to the market, coming back with insight, having conversations that don't involve you necessarily. And of course, as a CEO, you have to kind of define the sphere of which the business, the limits of capital, the limits of investment. Here's how much we can spend. Yeah, you're very open with that. Here's our burn rate. And everybody knows that in Micah and Miva, like, at least on the management level. And here are the boundaries of the strategy, and we can shift it, but we do that together. But once you define those boundaries, you can run and play within those boundaries. Nobody's going to stop you or interfere with you. And not many people can deal with this. No politics, no ego. There are people who genuinely are conditioned or believe that the way you rise is by, kissing up. And so when it doesn't work, that they don't understand why. So, I like the beginning.
But when you hit cash flow positive, it becomes sweeter.
Yeah, it's more peaceful. It's but how me and my colleagues are thinking about Miva now is like, okay. And I can say this because we have some tax exemption. We applied for pioneer status. So, when you say you're profitable in Nigeria, taxman shows up.
Yeah.
So taxman don't show up because we have tax exemption for 5 years. Anyway, so it's what I would love to do is as this business starts to, generate cash, is to fund other opportunities, either core education or adjacent to education. Find other folks that we can start backing. And again, what we're doing is not exceptional. This is what Naspers did in South Africa, and they invested in Tencent.
Yeah.
Became the greatest investment. You're familiar with this investment?
Yes.
Legendary
when I heard
Tencent
that, I was
investment.
like, how did you get in there from all the way from South Africa?
Yes, $20 million. That is, God knows what that thing is worth now. What that investment is.
I think they exited it at a point when they were restructuring us, but I think that was when you had your issues
with companies.
Yeah.
Yes, they still have a big stake, but it's worth tens of billions
of dollars. Yeah,
dollars. But what was Naspers? It was they owned the newspaper, they owned DSTV MultiChoice.
So actually, they are one of my model companies because I run the media first company. So yeah.
Yes, but that investment in Tencent came from dividends.
Yeah.
Right, it came from cash.
It didn't make so much money.
Yes, we need to see Nigerian corporates. Actually, the direct challenge is to Nigerian banks. We need to see some of the dividends, some of these earnings being retained.
Yeah, because I think one just declared 850 billion profits.
Yes, exactly. So you should be investing in your employees that want to start businesses. You should be incubating people outside of your companies that want to start businesses. You should, be leveraging your platform, your assets to create incredible new services and experiences.
Yeah,
we need to see more of that.
I think a lot of them lack it goes startup thinking.
Yes. Yeah.
They don't understand it.
No, not totally. There are a few exceptions, especially in the sort of the tier 2 banks. I think there are a few exceptions.
The challenger banks.
Yeah, challenger banks that are very cool. And I think, I don't want to name names and kind of go there. Yeah.
So, how do you keep yourself fresh?
So, my friends and relatives, like somebody says, okay.
You read a lot of music. How do you keep yourself fresh to always have ideas and always top performance?
So first of all, I have to say, I really enjoy what I'm doing.
Okay.
I really enjoy, I have this incredible privilege, and the investor community has given me this incredible privilege. It's almost a blessing to say you can keep, serving, running this education company, and yet some of the same investors in the education business will back you in insurance.
Really?
Yes. So some followed.
Most of them will say no.
No, there's some followed. And even of my colleagues, I think pretty much all of my colleagues, the senior colleagues at Miva, uLesson, put something into the insurance business. Not because I needed the money, but it just meant something. Some of these people started off as like entry level, designers, and I've worked up to VP now. And you're doing this, I must put in some money. So I'm living such a rich life. Imagine seeing that somebody that you saw start from, bottom of the org chart and is now an executive and is investing in you.
That's my dream.
It's a great life. And so it's like playing golf in the morning, tennis in the afternoon. I can work on one company and then context switch to another. And this is what I love. So when I'm not doing sort of this business building stuff, to be honest, I'm reading a lot.
Yeah, you read a lot.
Oh yeah, a lot. Biographies and
what I read it.
So right now,
I mean, I've been told what you're reading, but I also going to recommend some books for it.
Yeah, sure. So right now, it's totally irrelevant. I'm reading The Three-Body Problem, which is the books on which the Netflix series is based.
Yeah, what's that about?
The Three-Body Problem.
Yeah.
It's this epic sci-fi story about human beings summon this alien civilization, and now they are coming to Earth, and they're going to be here in a few hundred years. But in the time that they're coming, they've sent some technology to Earth to basically stop our technological development.
Interesting.
And pause our scientific advancement so that by the time they arrive, we can't fight.
Okay.
And they're from this planet. So there are a lot of things that come out with respect to Nigeria. If you of my friends and I, we talk about Nigeria, we geek out. So this is another thing I do. I'll just geek out with friends. So we've talked about Nigeria in the context of the three-body problem. But so this alien civilization exists in this star system where there are 3 stars. So it's an unstable system. That's why they want to come. And a friend of mine once said Nigeria is a 3-body problem because we have these 3 large tribes, right?
Yes.
That introduce, if you want a stable system, you need one big anchor majority. This is why Ghana works. There's one big tribe.
Yes.
This is why Iran works because the Persians are the big tribe.
Yeah.
But in Nigeria, we actually have these 3 major stars and then us, the minorities. So we talk about it from that point of view. And then we also talk about the conspiracy theories that is somebody breaking Nigeria's electricity to prevent us from being industrialized, which is something we've actually spent maybe a little too much time talking about.
It's something to think about.
So I will talk I have a group of friends that also I'm very privileged to have that have always been there, and they invest in what I do, or they provide, a shoulder when you're kind of, tired. And I'll talk strategy with my friends. I'll be very open with them about what I'm building. I'll invite them to criticize what I'm building. We'll often just sit in my garden and talk. That's something I do a lot. I play a lot of, I don't like shoot 'em up video games, but I like things like Polytopia and Age of Empires and Risk and Civilization. Those are my systems building games.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, so I do that a lot. And then I lift weights and walk a lot.
Okay, so
I think it's a pretty good life, right? I mean, it's like it doesn't have
you
to be
travel.
much.
You travel.
I enjoy traveling.
I see you and the missus on your Instagram.
Yeah, we travel a lot. We've been going to strange places.
Yes,
Vietnam.
Yes.
It's a great country.
Really?
Yeah. Amazing country. Amazing country.
So, book recommendations.
Let's see. I would strongly recommend my favorite book of all time is Guns, Germs, and Steel.
Really?
Yes, by a guy called Jared Diamond. Do you know the book?
I have it.
You own Guns, Germs, and Steel?
Yes, I've never read it though.
You're sitting on gold.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's the closest book that explains why the world is the way it is, why some people have and some don't.
So, okay.
And civilizations, and very scientific explanations for why Africa and certain parts of Asia.
I've never read it, it's just on my shelf.
Please, you should. It's a really, really good book. Like easily one of my favorite books. Let's see. I like biographies generally of political leaders or business leaders.
Okay.
Yeah, so, you know.
Which is a very good one you've read.
Yeah, anything written by Walter Isaacson, I think is brilliant. So he's done a book on Jobs. It's brilliant. He's done a book on Musk. It's brilliant. He's done one on Benjamin Franklin. Absolutely brilliant. Anything written by Isaacson is really great. Yeah, Walter Isaacson. Yeah.
I think I just run away from them. They're so big.
yeah, they can be thick.
So intimidating.
Yeah, but audiobooks help these days also. You just pop in your headset and listen.
What about movies?
Oh yeah, no. My wife and I are huge movie buffs. We'll go through more time than we will actually go through Rotten Tomatoes and find movies. If it's not over 70%, we don't bother. We treat movies like meals. Like we find very good films, and we. I'm more sci-fi and more serious movies. She can watch.
What about Godfather?
No, I like Godfather.
Okay.
Yeah. Godfather is that's good stuff. Yeah, that's really good.
I think I recently watched. There's this series I started watching. I think I also enjoyed it. You might like it. Called Landman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's about the oil. Right. It's a slow burn, but it's nice.
Oh, really? No, I'm a big movie person.
Okay. So what, you just take it? It's not like you watch it all the time. You just
We're definitely sort of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just to get away. During not so much during the week.
So I think there's a trivia question. If you could, is there like let me call it your business crush? Like a business that exists currently that you're like, I wish I was understood at this. Like you admire the way they currently run. You're like,
that a business crush, huh? Such a good in Nigeria or anywhere.
Oh, globally. I mean, I would have loved one Nigeria, one global.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay, so in Nigeria, which is a business that I wish I was the one that started it. I don't know if I wish I started it, but I have incredible respect for MoneyPoint.
Okay, fair enough.
I have a lot of respect for what they've done. When you really kind of dig into it and understand the hard road that they've had to walk and the way they've aligned all the stakeholders, and I think that's a really, really good story. I don't have the interest so much in banking, so that's why I'm not so. But internationally, increasingly, I find myself drawn to insurance companies.
But that's now.
Yeah. Yes. So there's a cheap answer. Well, there's.
Okay, so which one?
No, Lemonade Insurance in the United States.
Lemonade Insurance.
Yes, which is in American brute force capitalism, but it's still sort of elevated insurance in the spirit of mutual insurance or takaful or Islamic insurance. I think I really like their business model.
Oh,
yeah, I like these models that that will be around way beyond the departure and even the life of the founder. And I think this sort of that mutual.
It's quite interesting that in America you have insurance companies owning the banks.
And in South Africa too. In Nigeria, it's the other way around. Yes, yeah. There are real reasons for why that has happened, but I think that those reasons are starting to go away now with the reforms, the NIRA Act. I don't know if you're following what.
Yes, I did.
It changes.
So I mean, currently now, like I have an investment club with my friends. We're actually betting on the insurance stocks because of the new.
Oh yes, it changes a lot. It forces the insurance companies to do some things that they haven't necessarily done before, but I think to the benefit of themselves and the industry. There is actually regulation around claims being paid.
But I mean, they've also increased the
capital. Yes, which means that these guys are sitting on much bigger donkeys, so you need to make the donkey work.
Yeah.
So it means that there will be more innovation, more openness to players like Micah.
Yeah, because you need more.
You need to make it work.
Yeah.
You're sitting on capital. You need to make the capital work.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that's happening there. And that's also good. But insurance companies are incredible entities. I mean, especially all through actually, and on the underwriting side. I mean, you just look at.
But you've never been into insurance before, so you just.
No, but I've always thought about it. I've always thought about it.
Okay.
I've always thought about it. I think it's like it's going to go through like a lot of change. When I was very young, for example, I tried to work on this idea with some friends from university. I wish we persisted. We're trying to make this box that you can install in your car. This was in 1996. And that will use an accelerometer to measure your braking, how hard you turn, and then sell that data to insurance companies. But the surrounding technology just wasn't there.
At that time, yeah.
But those solutions are there now.
Yeah.
And very soon, you just be able to install it as an app in your dashboard or something. They're coming with like systems.
Yeah.
So I think soon we'll be able to, an HMO will be able to tell that, your blood pressure is a bit high. You should go have a look at this. Or you haven't done your steps today, or you said you quit smoking, but I can sense some vasoconstriction from nicotine. So what's going on? So the whole nature of the insurance game is Internet of Things and AI. Oh yeah. I feel like AI is built for insurance even. That's a quote I'm stealing from a friend of mine, actually, Bode Pedro of Cassava. AI is built for insurance, he says that a lot. And I agree with him.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what's one quote that you live by that guides you? Is there a quote that guides you?
You're putting me on the spot. I wish you had told me these questions. So let me see. A quote that guides me. Maybe a couple come to mind. There's nothing new under the sun. Everything just repeats. And then the other is shoot for the sky, and worst case, you land on a roof.
You land
on a roof.
Okay. All right.
Except if your aim is completely off, you end up in a swamp or something.
Fair enough. What was the best advice you ever received?
It was from my mother, actually, who's late.
I know.
Oh, man. She used to say, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing.
How did it? I've heard that a lot. I never knew the meaning of it, though.
I think that there's a level of, this entrepreneurship thing, at the end of the day, it's like it's a journey of self-actualization. It's like your own internal. I don't think it's really about money for most of these guys.
Yeah, I told them, I said, Dangote has no reason to work.
No, it's not. It's not about money. I don't think it's about money for many of these founders, even in Nigeria. I think it's about self-actualization, and it's about challenging something in yourself. And so in that sense, there must always be a plan within a plan. There will always be some kind of truth that maybe nobody even knows as to what's driving you. So it requires a lot of sort of mental growth in the ability to speak wisely, to not speak at all sometimes.
Yeah. But do you think there are people that are fueled by, entrepreneurs are fueled by different things?
Yes, definitely.
And, has yours evolved, or has it stayed the same?
Yeah, I think it has largely stayed the same. It's just that I have more clarity. I think when you're young, you're pushing, you're not sure why you're doing what you're doing. I always knew that it wasn't just about money. I got to a point very quickly in life that I was comfortable. And I was okay. I'd never really, I got to a point where, I knew that the things that concern, and it's an incredible privilege, most people that I know were not really there for me. Yeah, the concerns were not there. Now I think there's a part of it that's self-actualization. There's a part of it that, I feel like Nigeria is an incredibly great opportunity, and that there are entire sectors and spheres of the economy that are open and things are moving in slow motion. So plant your flag as much as you can. So there's build the institutions. I have I wish that my children will be interested in working at some of these businesses, which is why I say I think these investors will leave me here. If it's up to me, my son or daughter will join, an insurance and education business, start from entry level, and through their own sheer strength of their own, work their way up, and that would be a great outcome. I think that is something that I think every parent would like.
Yeah.
So there's that, and so I have more clarity on these things. But it's definitely not money or the material.
So the fuel has remained the same for you?
Yeah, pretty much. Just some clarity now. Now it feels like playing a very intricate, slow, 10-year video game. That's what it feels like.
Polytopia.
It's like a 10-year Polytopia game. That's why, uLesson Miva was 7 years. Konga was 5. Emotion was 6.
So basically, it's like you're just playing a game and we're all characters in your game.
Or maybe you're playing the game and I'm the character. It's a mutual game. No, but
it's a mutual game. Okay.
Yeah, it's a mutual. We're all playing our own mutual game. Some people are playing at scale. Some people are playing.
Do you apply game theory in your work?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, maybe a little too much.
It's been a wonderful time speaking with you.
Thank you. A pleasure. It's mine. I really enjoyed it.
I think I enjoyed this way too much. But I always say that I actually do this podcast for myself.
Yeah.
And you just have the privilege of watching it. So,
nice.
And
you're quite good you're very good at it. I've really enjoyed this. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So thank you very much. I'm really grateful for you making our time, and we are privileged that you're actually the person opening up our season 3. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.